There's a new RC craze hitting tracks worldwide right now. So what did you think I was going to do? Of course I was going to jump on the bandwagon. Of course I was going to give it a go myself. It's me, Andy. This is RC89. Welcome, and today looking at the latest RC craze to be hitting tracks around the world. I've seen it on lots of social media platforms and people are trying a new paint scheme. It's a little bit of a step away from your usual sort of race paint. People are starting to cartoonify their shells. So after seeing it, of course I wanted to go. So the idea is pretty simple. It's just a normal shell painted up, sometimes in a single colour scheme, and it's got marks on it. Similar to this, just to make it look like it's come out of a comic book really. I'm getting closer to getting myself on the track, and I thought what better way to make a video of my very first race shell. I went to Inside Line Models and I bought myself the M410 lightweight body from Bitty Design. So obviously if I just sprayed this normally and did the usual job, it wouldn't look cartoony. So how do we get that cartoon effect? I had to purchase some of these Posca paint marker pens. You'll see how we use these later on, so make sure you stay tuned. As well as the marker pens, we obviously needed a base colour. I decided to go for the Lagoon Blue Fast Tracks Fast Finish Lexan paint, and to make sure that colour pops, just got a plain ivory white, again from Fast Tracks, that we're going to use to back it all. So first things first, you're going to want to take your body shell out and give it a rinse with soapy water. That just makes sure that we've got a nice clean surface to spray onto, or in our case, to use our paint markers on. Now, once you've done that, let it dry. Make sure there's no soap or bubble marks. Next stage is to mask our windows using the provided decals. So we're getting to the exciting bit. Now that we're all masked off, it's time to crack open the Posca pens and detail these lines of the body. Areas sort of like the bonnet or the hood, depending on where you are, and the boot or the trunk. We've also got intakes at the side, and we've got the grille at the front. All of them can be detailed using these pens before we spray our proper colour behind them. That hopefully should give us our cartoon effect. Let's see how we get on. So after using our Uni Posca paint markers, this is what we've got so far. We want to make sure that the paint's all dry that we've put on with the markers. I've left this a good hour now, so that should be quite dry. Just going to go around the edges of these masks because we don't want anything seeping underneath. We're going to take our Lagoon Blue Fast Track Fast Finish paint, and in thin layers we're going to paint this body shell. It needs to be about 20 centimeters away, and we're just going to do nice strokes. Notice how I'm not just putting a load in one place. Smooth strokes from side to side. And that's going to be, I think, our first layer. You can start to see that Lagoon Blue coming through. But if we've not gone crazy on the first layer of paint, it's quite thin. We'll give it a little bit of time to dry between layers. So now I've left around about 10 minutes after that first layer. Give our can another shake. Time for the second layer. Now in the end, I ended up giving this 5 layers of very, very thin paint. Now after 5 layers of the blue paint, we backed it with white. And this extra 2 coats of white as a backing paint helps the colours stand out. It also gives a little bit of protection, so if we have any crashes while racing, hopefully that paint scheme holds up for a little bit longer. Once we'd finished painting and we'd let it dry, it's time to remove those window masks to give us an idea of what it was going to look like when we finally put it on our chassis. Now when you're doing this, be very careful that you don't slip and scratch the paint. That's the last thing that you want to do at this point. So as you can see, there's some detail that still needed to be filled in. So I grabbed my Uni Posca paint pen, I went back to the inside of the shell and started marking out where it needed to be filled in. Now if you wanted to, you could use the decals that come with the shell, but I thought to keep it looking cartoony, I would do this by hand. So now our body shell's finished. So we need to get this mounted on the car. Now there is a couple of things that we are going to need. First of all, we've got body reamer to create the holes to be put in our body shell so we can put them on the body posts. We've also got some curved scissors. Got these from Inside Line Models. I'll leave a link in the description for them. So there you go. That's your curved scissors. As you can see, they've got a little bit of a curve on them, which helps go around those wheel arches. And we've got our Fast Tracks body reamer. Now, be very careful with these. These are super sharp, so make sure the cap's always on them if you're not using them. So the next step is to mount our wheels onto our chassis. So with these windows, you can actually see the wheel nuts from the sides. So if you get them fairly central, that's where your body should sit. Now the only thing is, our marks on the outside aren't visible anymore because mine have worn off. So if this happens, what can we do? Well, what I suggest doing, take one of our paint pens and just bob a bit on the top of your body post. When we line our wheel nuts up and give it a little press and a wiggle, hopefully we've got some marks on the inside there that we can use our body reamer to go through now. Push against the legs and where our points are, little twist, and as we twist it, we should be making a little hole through there. And there we go. Now from this side, as we turn, you can see the hole getting bigger. The good thing about this is it's got depths down the side, so dependent on the size of your hole, you've got at least some sort of continuity there. Now you don't want to make these holes too big so the body moves around on the post, but obviously you want them big enough that it's not too difficult to get it on and off. Let's grab our chassis, grab our body, and there we go. Ready for some body pins to go in there. So the next job, grab your curved scissors and follow the line that's already around your wheel well, or the line that you've drawn previously. So the wheel arches have now been cut. Next, we're going to cut the side skirts and around the bumper and around the rear. The curve going away from the shell works slightly better going around there. And finally, these body skirts. Now the most satisfying part of any body shell painting. Once you're all set, once you've got all your holes in, before we install the rear wing, all we're going to do now is find an edge and peel back that protective layer. Make sure it's all off. And there we go, look at that. Now that we've taken that protective layer off, it's just time to install the rear wing. And here it is, guys, the final product. Now I'm pretty chuffed with that, to be fair. My first body shell. Let me know in the comments if you like this style of body shell, what you think. Let me know what type of body shell you run, and let's get a little bit of conversation going down there in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, press the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.